How do you convince a business owner that a flat fee deal structure is the best deal structure when they want to push for commission or they want to do pay per lead or they want to do some other crazy deal? Well, what I've found is that number one, and I've shared this in an earlier video, don't bring it up too soon. Don't act too rigid too soon. Make sure that they try out your leads. Let them get a couple of free leads before you get too crazy. That's number one. But it's always important to bring it up at the right time and in the right way before they bring it up on the final call. So here's what I do is if it comes up in the first couple of calls, meaning when I originally call and get the business owner hooked and on trial, I push it off. Okay. I push it off. I let them know, and I've said this already on a video, is I just let them know, say, hey, look, that's the last thing I'm worried about right now. The deal is the easy part. Let's just see if this is a good fit. Let me get you a couple leads, and we'll talk about that in a couple days, and I'll push it off. Okay. Where I like to bring it up is I bring it up right before I do it during the setup. And if you've seen any of my videos, I'm a big believer in the close is in the setup. The close is in the setup. So one of the steps of my setup is I send a video before the call, and I go over a number of things in this video. I have some specific things I'm trying to cover in this video. But one of the things I do at the very end of that video is I talk about deal structure. I don't talk about price because I want to save that. That's the one thing I want to talk about at the end because I need to use that to get them on that call. But I talk about deal structure, and this is basically verbatim how I say it. So I'm gonna kind of just say it like I would if you were the business owner listening. So I say, and again, keep in mind, I'm talking to the camera, like this is me recording the screen. I'm not talking directly to them because I'm recording the screen, recording myself with my image. So I look like a real person, but I'll be showing them or talking like camera to camera or screen share, whatever, and I'll just say, okay, so as far as this goes, how we typically do these is number one, we don't do commission. The reason we don't do commission, there's no skin in the game for you. It's an absolute hassle to track. It just isn't worth it. We just don't do commission. So I'm sure you understand that. There's nothing that there's no incentive for you to try and go close deals. It just doesn't make sense. But we used to, when we first started, and I'll say this, we used to do pay per lead. We thought that was a good idea because we thought in our heads that would be an easy sale. We'd go to the business owner, say, hey, Mr. Business Owner, you only pay for what you get. And we love the idea of it as a business because we thought, well, the more leads that we send, we actually can make as much money as possible, which is actually true. That's what we actually thought. But here's what happens every single time with pay per lead. Okay, is Mr. Business Owner, let's say that we're sending you leads for $100 a lead, just for easy math. And let's say that I'm sending you 15 to 20 leads every month. Okay, $1,500, $2,000. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, deep down, just so you know, my goal is I want to get you to 100 leads or 50 leads or 70 leads because that's the whole benefit of the pay per lead model for me is I have no ceiling. But here's the problem is when my SEO hits or when my map listing hits or when it's the right time of year and we do have one of those huge monster months and I send you an invoice for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 instead of two, you know what's going to happen? And I'm telling you this because it's going to happen. It happens to everybody is you're going to take your red pencil, you're going to get this invoice and you're going to go through every single lead and you're going to start marking them. That one didn't answer. That one was too small. That one is in the wrong zip code. And that's what happens every single time. And I'm not just saying it with you, but it's happened so many times and it just doesn't work. And on top of that, we're going back and forth. I'm having to send you an invoice. You're having to review them. Then we're determining what's a lead, what's not. And guess what ends up happening? It becomes a strain on our relationship. And I've had that happen with multiple companies and we're just not willing to go down that road. So for the past 20 deals, 2 years, you can say whatever you want, whatever it really is. And for us, it's been 2 years. We found a way better model. We do not do that model anymore for a number of reasons, those being a couple of them. Now we do a very simple model. It's just a flat rate. So literally what we do is we do it weekly or monthly. We come up with a fair rate that makes sense. And every single lead that comes off of this website, you get. It's included in that price. Now, in December, it's going to be a little bit slower. I'm going to tell you that right now because it's Christmas and this is concrete. This is tree service. This is whatever. It is going to be a little bit slower. However, in the spring, in the fall, certain times of year when the numbers spike, we're not going to come knocking on your door for more money. We're not. And so what we found is that it all evens out in the end, number one, and it saves everyone a ton of time and a lot of back and forth, and we have a great relationship. So we understand, like, at the end of the day, Mr. Business Owner, for you to continue with us, there has to be a positive ROI. So we will always make sure that these leads are quality, but that's been the best deal structure, and that's what we do. So anyway, as far as like the actual price that we charge, there's some factors that go into that: competition, number of leads, all these different things. Typically don't like to even mention number of leads. And I'm not going to edit this, but I probably wouldn't say that. I don't think it's going to kill you, but I usually don't say that. I usually just say there's a number of things that go into this: competition, population, etc. And we could talk about like the pricing and stuff on the call tomorrow. But anyway, just want to give you an idea. That's typically how our deals work. And I will see you tomorrow. Let me know if you have any questions. And that's it, guys. That is my entire, that's how I bring it up. That's how I get rid of. So now when I get on the call tomorrow, right? If tomorrow's the meeting, there is no question. They're not asking for commission because we don't do it. It's just not an option. And I will not do commission ever, 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 ever. I've made up my mind. I won't do pay per lead. It's too much work. It's too much hassle. There's too many variables. I understand in theory it can work, but I don't want to have to define a lead. And then what happens if, and I'll let them know, I'll say, look, what happens if I send over a perfectly good lead and you don't answer and you don't get a hold of it? How do we know? Who takes the blame? Do I pay for it? Do you pay for it? Right? It's so much easier if we just send all the leads and there's a flat rate. And so tomorrow when I get on that call, it's not about convincing them about the flat fee deal structure. They already know that's the deal structure, and I've told them why. Now it's just about the price, and I drop the price at a strategic point during the close. Guys, the close is in the setup. This is how I convince business owners and show them that flat fee is the best deal structure.